lectures this morning. And before I get into this morning's lecture, I just want to take a moment to thank all of my supporters and everyone for supporting my channel. You know, my YouTube channel will not be where it's at today without all of my supporters. So with that being said, let's get on down to today's very important lecture, which is relocating in tights moving expenses. Relocating and moving expenses. You know, if the viewers are aware, I relocated from the state of Georgia. I was out there for the state of Florida. I relocated from the state of Florida. I was there for like a year and a half, and now I'm officially a resident of the state of Georgia. I live in the Warren Robins area, and I'm gonna tell you that was the best decision that I could have made personally and financially, especially being in retirement. I fully retired September 2023, and hurricanes in Florida just wasn't working for me. And you know, I tell anybody, by me being in the military, I've relocated many times throughout my adult life, and there is a skill set. There is a skill set you need when you're relocating. I don't care if it's from city to city, state to state, or to a whole nother country. There's a lot of logistics and behind the scene that you need to do before you move. And I can attest to that. And it feels really good to officially full-time being in this state I'm living in. I love the area that moved to. I'm like walking distance from Warren Robins Air Force Base. This is a military town. I am military, so I'm familiar with living in military towns, and I really do love it. I'm out here walking right now. I'm probably about maybe almost a round trip, probably about a mile from this Air Force Base. So one of my walking routines, I know I can get over a mile in by walking to the Air Force Base. So that's what I'm doing right now. But it's something about when you live in a military town, especially if you're a veteran. I'm a veteran. It's all kind of discounts you're going to get. So, but again, you know, the focus of this lecture is relocating and moving expenses. You know, I did preparation probably about 2 or 3 months of behind the scenes logistics before I actually became a resident of Georgia. I made a couple of trips out here, actually about 3 trips out here to get everything set up, to get my living arrangements set up, to scope out the zip code that's critical, doing your due diligence. You'll always make sure before you relocate, all of the money that you spend on relocating, and even when you're making trips back and forth to get everything set up, all the money you spend on gas and motel and all that's a business write-off. So I kept all those receipts. My personal business taxes have already been filed, so all of that's been turned in. And even with some of the expenses that I incurred in 2025 in terms of setting up my relocation, I save up those receipts and file it for my taxes for 2025. All that ties into relocating. You want to make sure you change physically, go inside of the banks, your financial institutions, and change your address with your financial institution. That's critical. It don't matter if you do a change of address with the post office. No, take it behind inside of the financial institutions and get your stuff changed. That's one of the things I did prior to relocating. And all, like I say, all of the money you spend on gas and motels and anything you spend in relation to your relocation is a 100% write-off. I can write it off as a business expense because even though I retired, I do a lot of things under my company to generate revenue. And that's just so important. You want to make sure that one particular trip I made out here in the area I'm living in is I went ahead and got before I officially relocated, because I had already had my home set up. So I got my driver's license in the state of Georgia. Went ahead and got my driver's license, transferred over. Went ahead and got my vehicle registration transferred over from Florida to Georgia. Went ahead and got my vehicle transferred from Florida and Georgia. I did all that probably about 2 or 3 weeks before I officially came out here. And that's really, really important. You don't want to wait to do that. One of the things I did prior to relocating is I went ahead probably about the last couple of weeks before I was full-time in my new resident. I contacted my insurance company because when you relocate, that's going to have an impact on what you pay for your car insurance. And when I left Florida to come to Georgia, I'm telling you right now, my car insurance decreased by well over $800+. So that was a very valuable phone call. So I'm recouping that money. So what you're going to think I'm going to do with that additional $800 I would have been throwing away paying for car insurance in the state of Florida. The state of Florida has the highest car insurance in the world, people. It's out of control. Because those insurance companies know if you in Florida, 99% of the time, your car is going to get flooded to hurricanes. Your home is going to get flooded. The whole state is a flood zone, in my opinion. So you're going to lose your vehicle. You're going to lose your car. So the insurance companies are going to charge you triple to get coverage on your home, your car, and anything else. Just to say you live in Florida. And that was one of the driving forces that got me up out of there, because my thing is I'm about dollars and cents. I'm about increasing my financial portfolio in retirement versus throwing away money in a state that's price gouging everything. It took me a year and a half to recognize, I got to get on up out of here. I don't see how those folks do it. Many people are leaving of all ages because the cost of living in Florida is out of control. Insurance companies are pulling out. Property tax is out of control. Car insurance is out of control. Homeowner insurance is out of control. You're paying triple for everything because of the intensity of the hurricanes in the state of Florida. In 2024, my area that I lived in, we got hit by hurricanes 3 times in a short amount of time frame, people. That's a lot. In the area I lived in, all those homes were impacted. And, a couple of those hurricanes came 2 weeks apart. So I'm going through that every year. I'm looking at some of those folks that live out there. I say, I don't see how y'all do this every year. Lose everything in the world you have a good 2-3 times a year and start over. Here's this Air Force base. I don't know if y'all can see it, but this is a huge Air Force base, people. And it's something about these military towns. They cater to active duty. They cater to veterans in these military towns. You're going to save a lot of money. Here's a railroad track right here. So I'm literally in walking distance from this Air Force base. And I really do like the area I'm living in. I'm saving so much money by relocating. Really. And I tell anybody, in a retirement debt-free, I developed a strategic plan 10 years before I retired to be debt-free, people. And I met that goal years before I retired. So when your debt is low, when your debt is literally zero, it gives you more disposable income if you have to do things like relocate when you're realizing something ain't working for you. When you can just, without creating debt. When you can just up and go because you got so much disposable income, you ain't trapped or stuck with nothing. You can have more disposable income to increase your financial portfolio. You can, whatever you need to do, you can do it, people. But the key thing is, you gotta enter retirement debt-free or become debt-free at any age. And this is real talk. So again, I am really happy to be where I'm at. Now I can be in an area where it's going to give me the freedom and the space to continue to develop and to cultivate and to nurture my personal goals, my business goals. You got to keep your mind and spirit clear in order to grow. If you're distracted by multiple hurricanes throughout the year, if you're distracted by toxic people, if you're distracted by toxic neighbors or toxic co-workers or toxic family members, or if your home is in discord, it will block your spiritual growth. It'll block your mental growth, your financial growth, all the way around. And I tell anybody that. And because I got a lot of personal and business goals now that I'm going to continue to work on in my new environment. And I'm just so excited. And I'm also happy that my relocation is 100% done. And you better believe I kept up excellent records on every single expense that I accumulated in order to uproot out of the state of Florida to establish new ground in this military town to continue to develop and cultivate and nurture my personal and financial goals. So make sure you mark your calendar for March 29th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do a powerful live stream lecture. And I've been doing these specific relational lectures probably for about 3 years now. And I'll market that specific lecture. But that topic is going to be how to develop a successful business goal. Because one of the primary services I provide under my company, Paris and Associates Resource Center, I enter into an executed contract with paying customers who want to hire me to develop their strategic business goal. And this is one lecture you do not want to miss, because I'm telling you, if you don't have a business plan in place with measurable goals and objectives, how are you going to measure your progress? How are you going to measure your progress? You're setting yourself up for failure for goal achievement if you don't have that strategic business plan with identified goals on paper, and to be able to look at it, to touch it, to revise it. So on March 29th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be ready to get down to business. This is one lecture. I'm going to say this again. This is one lecture, people, you do not want to miss. Bottom line. That's all I have. Simplify, simple fidelis. And I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.